Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video we are going to be looking at some more Am I the A-hole posts over on Reddit, and they're all wedding themed because it's wedding season. So let's see, shall we? Attached mother-in-law trying to take over my bridal shower. I, 23 female, am getting married soon. My mum and grandmother are throwing my bridal shower and I told them that I'd like it to be adults only. My mum sent out invitations that were specifically labelled with the names of who were invited. My sister-in-law has a young daughter and she's my mother-in-law's only granddaughter. I made a point to only write my sister-in-law's name in the invite, but my mother-in-law decided to tell her granddaughter that not only is she going to go to my shower, but they, mother-in-law, sister-in-law and granddaughter, were going to be wearing matching pink and black outfits. When she told me this, I reminded her that it was an all-adult party. I didn't mention the matching outfits because even though it bothered me, it was a moot point if the grandma wasn't going. Sorry, if the granddaughter wasn't going. She immediately called my fiance and told him that if the granddaughter wasn't invited, then she and my sister-in-law aren't going, and how ridiculous that I'm excluding family, where none of my other friends or family will be bringing their children either. I've already made a big compromise with my wedding day for her, invited the granddaughter and other kids from their side of the family, even though I told my friends and family no kids, and I feel like she's being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole? No, absolutely not. Your wedding is one of the days ever, one of the only days in your life where you are able to say, I want things to be just so. I want things to be this way, I want things to be done like this, I don't want this person, I do want this person. And to me, that also extends to your hen do or any events leading up to your wedding. You want to look back and feel excited when you think about what you've done. You want to look back and be pleased and happy with how things turned out. Now, if someone is going to be forcing someone upon you that you don't want there, you're not going to be enjoying it as much. Yeah, you're not being an arsehole here at all. I feel as though you've been put between a rock and a hard place where they've almost like bypassed you and gone straight to your fiance and are trying to kind of get them to side with him. It's, yeah, you're not the a-hole. If it was me, I mean, I guess there's a couple of ways you can do it. You could have two bachelorettes depending on what the first one's going to be like. Maybe do one that's a bit smaller and you can have the granddaughter there, and then you can maybe do one that's a bit more wild, one that you actually want to do. But I don't think you should be making compromises. It's your wedding, it's your hen do, it's your occasion. You're not the a-hole. I really hope that your fiance is backing you up. Like you said, you've already compromised with the wedding, you've already gone back on something you didn't really want to do anyway. So yeah, not everyone who comes to the wedding comes to the hen do anyway. It's not a given that you get an invite to the wedding, you automatically get an invite to the hen do as well. So no, you're not being the a-hole. If anything, I think unfortunately this may be more of what you have to deal with going forward. But I would put your foot down, I would make a stand. If this is something you really feel strongly about, then yeah. And especially if your fiance is on your side, then I think just keep going and stand strong. But yeah, you're not the a-hole at all. Am I the a-hole? Bachelorette party is way too expensive. To make a long story short, my friend asked me to be a bridesmaid and I said yes. The wedding will be in Florida near the end of March, spring break time, and the maid of honour has not reached out to anyone about budgets for a bachelorette party. I just got a text and the trip will be in Nashville and the Airbnb is like $700 a person and will be a month before the wedding. But they're asking for half the amount for making a down payment this weekend. Round trips, more than likely $300, to just travelling and room will be pushing $1,000, and this is just a weekend trip. After eating, drinking and Ubering for a long weekend, it's probably going to push $1,500 in total. Oh, wow. Then the wedding is in a month later, and round trip tickets for spring break near Miami will easily be $400 to $600 a person. The dresses the maid of honour is asking us to look at start off at $200, and then we're also being expected to use a stylist that they like who charge another $200 something per person. This is really getting expensive. Am I the a-hole for thinking this is way too much to ask for a bridesmaid? Like, technically yes, I could afford it if we had months to save before making an initial payment, but no budgets were discussed before this bomb was dropped today, and I'm honestly kind of mad that I'm being asked to drop $400 in the next day or two. I'd almost rather talk to the bride and somehow ask if she'd be alright with me stepping down and just attending as a guest. You're not the a-hole. There's a lot that is going on. So obviously maid of honour is saying, right, $1,500 for the hen do. Then you've got another $200 for the dress, $200 for a stylist, and let's say $600 for the trip to the wedding. That's $2,500 that you're gonna have to potentially try and find for a wedding in a very short space of time. Now it's different because obviously you would have had to save the date for maybe a year, so you would have been able to say, right, okay, I need to save for this, that's fine, I can kind of get everything together, I can save for the trip. But this maid of honour is taking the piss, because you do need more than a couple of days notice, especially if you have other responsibilities like rent or a mortgage. You maybe have childcare cover you need to think about, or animal sort of shelters and things like that. It's never just a case of here's the money, I'm good to go. I maybe wouldn't say stepping down straight away. As if one of my bridesmaids came up to me and said, look, I can't afford this, would it be okay if, you know, I did something with you separately, like I took you for lunch, we did like a smaller thing here, we did something more local that I can afford to do with you. It's not because I don't love you, it's not that I don't want to do this, it's just, it's a lot in as short notice. Maybe put it that way, see how the bride reacts. If the bride is like, actually no, you're right, this is way too much, it's fine, we'll do something a bit smaller, all of us can have a meal when we get back, we'll have like a secondary bridesmaid party, a bachelorette party, then, you know, it kind of saves you having to be like, look, I'm going to step down. But if the bride is like, how dare you, you don't love me, you don't want to be here, like, you're useless, then you can be like, look, I'm done, I want to step down. This isn't worth the stress for you, for me, for anyone. So maybe going with that, maybe going with the notion that you don't want to step down, so you don't mention it yet, but be a bit more like, I can't afford this. Is there an alternative that you and I can do? Maybe try that. But yeah, no, you're not the a-hole. That is ridiculous. Am I the a-hole for wanting my best friend to change her hair colour? I, female 21, and getting married in October of this year, 2023. The wedding is a nude champagne peach theme with ivory. That sounds lovely. The bridesmaid dresses I've picked out are a peach and terracotta silk dresses. They're absolutely beautiful. However, my best friend, female 21, has bright electric blue hair she has just got done and paid a lot of money to get done, and it just doesn't match the colour scheme of the wedding. At first I asked if she would consider changing her hair when the wedding gets closer. I even offered to help pay for it, and she straight up told me no. Then I offered to help her buy a high quality lace front wig just for the wedding, and she said no again. She keeps insisting that I just change the theme of my wedding to match her hair, but I've already spent a lot of money on decor, flowers, etc. in peach, nude and terracotta. She doesn't normally act like this and is usually very willing. We've been arguing about this for almost 3 months, and now I'm debating if I should even have her in my wedding. She keeps saying that I'm being the arsehole and selfish in this situation. Please help, lol. Edit. I should mention I'm paying for all her transportation and expenses for the wedding too, her airfare to come here, her hair and makeup, her dress. I'm also paying for her childcare costs too, food and diapers so her parents can watch her kid, since this is a child-free wedding. I also paid for 3 nights because that's all I could afford at the hotel where my honeymoon is, so her and her partner can have a nice vacation too. Oh my gosh, you have been so thoughtful. You have really been as accommodating as you can be. Now, when my brother got married, I wanted to have, I was, gosh, 25. I wanted to have my purple extensions in. I asked because the theme was purple. They said no, that was fine. Now, the fact that the theme would have matched the same, and I was a bridesmaid, the dress was like a Cadbury's purple, my extensions were very similar purple, but they were like, they're not keen on it, and I said that's fine, like, it doesn't bother me. I've asked, they've said no, that's okay. The fact that your friend, and I know obviously this has passed now, but the fact that your friend is very like, no, this isn't going to happen, you should change your wedding to match me, is extremely selfish. This is not their wedding day, this is not the theme that you picked, this is what you want, this is what you've decided for you and your fiance to have. And yeah, I would at this point just say, look, I don't think it's going to work. You're welcome to come to the wedding, but you're no longer going to be in the wedding party because you're causing me stress that I don't need. I feel as though if you're arguing about this for 3 months already, it's not just going to suddenly change. You don't know kind of how vindictive this person is, because she does sound a bit vindictive, to be honest. I said it before, you shouldn't make compromises for your wedding. It's, you know, it's your big day, you're planning it, you're paying for it, and like I said, you're paying for her to have a little vacation, childcare, you're paying for her to get there, you're paying for anything that she needs while she's there by the sounds of it, and she can't do this one thing for you. She can always re-dye her hair at a later date. It's not the be-all and end-all. Hair colour can be changed all the time. I had red hair at one point and now I have my natural colour back. It's not hard. The fact, again, that you also said, look, I will help pay and cover the costs, and she's still like, absolutely not, is not great, I'll be honest. So I feel as though you may be less stressed if you say, look, you're more than welcome to come, but you'll no longer be in my wedding party. Therefore you can wear whatever colour dress matches your hair. But yeah, that's how I would take it. And then do seriously reconsider if you want to pay for all of her expenses, because she's not being as accommodating and as willing as really you need from your bridesmaids. And if she's causing you stress now, she's probably going to cause you stress on the day. I'm just being honest. We're planning a destination wedding where both sides of our family have to travel. I was hoping being a destination would mean fewer people would show up. I want to celebrate with loved ones but feel uncomfortable being the centre of attention. But this doesn't seem to be the case. We feel so fortunate that 80 people seem to be willing to travel for our celebration. My mother and mother-in-law feel we need a welcome dinner, but when we make a list, it's 60 to 75 people. We're already obviously hosting the wedding as well as brunch the day after. A welcome dinner feels unnecessary, especially since traditionally they're for out-of-town guests, but here everyone is from out of town. However, my fiance and I aren't paying for the wedding, my parents are. Because of this, I have let her have free rein with the engagement party, which I also didn't want, and it didn't feel like my partner and me. It felt too formal, but we were grateful so many people wanted to celebrate us. I tried advocating for just drinks at a bar for a welcome party or renting out a private room at a bowling alley, both of which were shot down by my mother as too informal and redneck. What the hell does that even mean? Everyone keeps telling me I'm too go with the flow, I need to put my foot down and start setting some boundaries, or this wedding is never going to be like us. Now my mother-in-law has decided to take over planning for the welcome dinner and asked me to go for coffee to brainstorm. Would I be the a-hole if I said, I'm happy to go for coffee to catch up, but I'd really like to not be involved with this as it's something I don't feel comfortable with. I'm worried that if I do though, then this wedding will continue to not feel like me or my partner. I'm really unsure how to balance this and I'm feeling lost. There's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so the first thing I would say is if you invite a lot of people, regardless if it's local or abroad, expect a lot of people to reply and say yes. You can't send invites out and be like, right, I'm sending it to this person because they won't come. You have to expect that everyone is going to turn up. That's probably the first rule of wedding planning, really. Don't expect 90 people but only plan for 60, because those other 30 people, they've got to be put somewhere. They're going to want to eat and be there. So yeah, don't ever send invites out expecting not everyone to reply. If everyone does reply, that is amazing. Like you've said, you're really fortunate 80 people want to celebrate you. If people drop out, which does happen, if people can't make it, which does happen, then fine, that's what it is. But never send out invites expecting not everyone to come, because going on to the welcome dinner part of it, that does seem a little bit much, formal wise. I feel as though your idea of drinks is probably fine. If you were doing a brunch the next day as well, then I feel like that's okay. We had breakfast with my family the next day and that was really lovely because my brothers don't live near me. So it was really nice to have that time with them and my nieces and my nephews, and that meant a lot. So that is such a nice idea. You've said that everyone's from out of town, obviously because you're travelling. I think, yeah, a dinner is a bit much. It's probably the last thing that you want as well before your big day. You probably just want to be able to have a couple of drinks if you want to, if you drink, and just go back to your room and chill, have a face pack and just get ready for your big day. I do agree that maybe you're being a bit too go with the flow. You are leaving one of the most important days in your life up to someone else to plan. And going from what you've said around your engagement party, it didn't feel like you and your partner, so why is your wedding going to be any different? I just want to put that out there. I imagine this has potentially gone and passed anyway. I would put your foot down and say, look, we don't want to have a welcome dinner. It's too much the day before the wedding. I'm happy to have a few drinks with people and to say hello and to thank them for travelling, because you're probably not going to get a chance to talk to everyone on your wedding day, I'll be honest. It's hectic. So yes, I really think you need to put your foot down, because you're going to walk into a wedding for people that you're not going to recognise, because it's not going to be for you. So do put your foot down. Do say to your mother-in-law, I would love to catch up with you, but I don't want to talk about this welcome dinner. It's not something that I want, and go from there. Now, just do what you think is right for you, but it's also right for your fiance. Now, if it's your fiance's mother, I would maybe get them to say as well, we don't want this. We're not really into this idea, please don't, and get them on side, because it's not fair it all comes on you. It should be both of you that are united. You wouldn't be the arsehole they are. Am I the a-hole for not changing my wedding date? So my fiance and I have been engaged for several years. We originally had our wedding planned for 2020 before the pandemic even started, and we had a small fire at our home. Oh no. So we decided that we had to postpone the wedding for a little longer. Financially, we couldn't afford it. Then the pandemic hit. We took another financial hit from that, and wedding planning just wasn't an option. Cut to this year, I'm working again, and in the spring we decided we want to get married in late summer. Just a backyard style event. We're still having all the typical wedding things, 100 people invited, ceremony, bridal party, dances, etc. We are renting a communal space in a private community, and they only had one Saturday available for 2 months. I was quite surprised for that. So we booked it. Unknowingly to us, my fiance's brother had a vacation planned for that week with his in-laws, a 12-hour drive. They go every year, but I never paid any attention to the exact dates. Since they go Saturday to Saturday, I thought maybe they can come home a day early. Since we were planning this in a short time, I put several deposits down and signed contracts right away. So after I have about 90% of my vendors picked out, we find out my soon-to-be brother and sister-in-law will be gone 2 weeks. We offered to fly my brother-in-law in for the weekend so my fiance can have a best man and his brother there. They just aren't going to be able to make it. I'm bummed about it, and so is my fiance, but we decided to just go on planning. Now that several of our out-of-town guests have booked flights and invitations are being stamped, we find out they are pissed we didn't move the date to accommodate their vacation. So am I the a-hole? No. You can't plan your wedding around other people. It just will, because you'll move it and someone else won't be able to make it, or someone else will have something on, someone else will be unhappy. You can't do a vacation that happens every year, I'm sorry, is not as special as your wedding, and you should take precedence over that. The fact you've offered to fly them in and they've said no, there has to be a good excuse for no, not just I'm on holiday. You ask them to come back 1 day early, that's it. If it's a 12-hour drive, then they're not flying anywhere, right? Why can't they just drive back or just cancel their last day of holiday? I don't know. You're not the a-hole. It's literally 1 day that you're asking for. You've really been trying to plan this for a long time. You've had hardships coming along, and this is going to be such a special day because of how long it's taken you to get there. So not the a-hole. Your brother-in-law definitely is. Just keep going ahead, just keep doing you. You'll have an amazing day, and you know what, when it's in full flow you won't even realise they're not there. That's the truth. That's all for today, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Leave a like, leave a comment if you think these guys are arseholes, if you think any differently to what I've said, and make sure you subscribe. We've got some great stuff coming up this year. We've got a few travel vlogs planned as well. I'm really excited. I will catch you in the next one.